Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Southwest.
The July Texas heat is becoming a metaphor for your Texas Rangers. The offense is getting it done this month in every possible way. Getting on base, pounding the extra base hits, and especially coming through in the clutch. As the North Texas weather continues to scorch, so do the Ranger bats. So welcome to Arlington, Oakland A's, and get ready for some heat. Very hot night for a makeup game tonight. A game that was rained out on May 11th, played here to begin a four-game series between the Rangers and the Oakland A's. And we welcome you, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. It's hard to find a Ranger bat that is not scorching so far in the month of July. But, Tom, let's focus in on two of the very hottest, Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz.
Well, you're right, Dave. We talked in the pregame show about the Ranger bats. They rank first in almost every offensive category for the month of July. And the two guys you mentioned are two of the key reasons why. Both of these guys, since the month started, have been extremely hot. Adrian Beltre is hitting over 500. He says he's a second-half hitter, in which case we're going to see a lot of line drives over the next few months. Nelly Cruz was struggling for a while. He's back being hot. He's hitting 400 this month. Both of those guys in the middle of the lineup have really made the offense go.
And tonight, they are Rich Harden's problem. Yes, the same Rich Harden who was supposed to be the Rangers' #1 starter last year, washed out for a familiar reason, injuries. Tonight, his second start in his second stint back with the Oakland A's. And we'll be back with the starting lineups of the first pitch next. To go first of what is now a 4-game series between the Rangers and the Oakland A's. And let's check in down on the scorching playing field tonight. Again, is Emily Jones.
Well, Dave, as you well know, Derek Holland's last time out was definitely a forgettable one. The shortest start of his major league career, just 2/3 of an inning he pitched. And he said, I don't want to not learn from that experience, but I also don't want to read too much into it.
I did put my hands in a different spot this time. The stretch, I got back to how I was before and not hands down at the hip. But that, other than that, everything else is still the same. And I'm just going to, like I said, take it one pitch at a time. And in between starts like this, just could keep plugging away.
Keep plugging away, and he says in his Geico quote of the game, also don't want to overthink things. Now, Ron Washington has said that he anticipates that Derek will make his next start. However, nothing is guaranteed. He said everything will be evaluated after the All-Star break, and of course a lot of different factors going into that. So it is paramount that Derek Holland has a good outing here tonight if he wants to remain in the good graces of Ron Washington in terms of the starting rotation, guys.
All right, on Emily's behalf, Derek Holland will try to look a little bit more like he did a little over a month ago when he threw his second career complete game shutout, June 4th at Cleveland. Comes in with a 6-4 record, a 5.10 earned run average. Today's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They are watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. And we are delighted that you are. Welcome. The Rangers take the field, and interim manager Bob Melvin has this Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Rangers haven't seen Jemile Weeks yet. They will tonight, leading off at second base. Coco Crisp in center, batting second. Hideki Matsui is the DH. Josh Willingham just off the DL. Cleanup in left field. Former Tiger Scott Sizemore bats fifth. At third, a new position for him. Connor Jackson is at right. Chris Carter at first. Kurt Suzuki really struggling this year. He's behind the plate. And the former Aggie Cliff Pennington is at shortstop, batting ninth.
See Derek Holland tonight coming off a poor start. Derek really struggled in his last start, did not get out of the first inning, as a matter of fact. Gave up 4 hits, a couple of walks, and 5 runs in the first inning. He's better than that, looking to rebound from that start. He's struggled in his last 5 starts. 4 career starts against the A's have gone well. An even record and a nice solid 2.42 ERA. So good opportunity for Derek to bounce back, help the ball club after a start that he'd like to forget.
Defensively for the Rangers, here's the outfield. Hamilton at left, Chavez in center, Nelson Cruz in right, Beltre, Andrews, Kinsler, Moreland in the infield, and Mike Napoli gets his second straight start behind the plate. And the Rangers, when Napoli starts at catcher, are 14-7 this year. The A's at 39-49, last in the West by 8 games behind the Rangers. Keeping pace yesterday by beating Seattle 2-0. The finale of their homestand. It was a combined 2-hitter by Guillermo Moscoso, Joey Devine, and Andrew Bailey. Sizemore with a home run. One of only 5 A's hits off of Jason Vargas in a tough complete game loss for the Mariners. A few weeks ago, looked like the A's were maybe starting to put something together. They won 6 straight, but since then they've lost 9 of their last 14. And here is 24-year-old Jemile Wilkes, who takes a strike at the knees. He is the brother of Ricky Weeks. Jemile planning to be with Ricky, try to get on the field at Phoenix at the All-Star game next week. And a little chop goes foul for an 0-2 count. We are at triple digits again, exactly 100 degrees for the 3rd time in the last 4 games.
It's tough to know exactly what kind of a player Jemile Weeks will grow into. Right now he's a little more slightly built than his brother. His brother has a little bit more power. It looks so far like Jemile might not strike out as much as his brother, more of a contact hitter. But we'll see how he develops.
5'9", 161. Product of the University of Miami, and tires of waiting for Holland.
Yeah, he's developing into a leadoff hitter. He's had an opportunity the last 3 weeks to lead off. He's hitting .305. Former #1 draft choice. The A's are counting on him to the point where they've installed him as their leadoff hitter.
And the American League co-rookie of the month in June with those fine numbers. 1-2 pitch, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And also to the point where they traded Mark Ellis, who had been their standout second baseman for a number of years. Looks like the job is his.
2-2 pitch, and he can't catch up to 95-mile-an-hour heat. So
and
one gone.
Needless to say, Dave, a much better start for Derek Holland. Had trouble with the strike zone in his first start. He just couldn't locate the strike zone. He wasn't missing by a lot, but he threw a lot of pitches and just really couldn't get the ball down and in the strike zone.
Coco Crisp now, like Weeks, a switch hitter at the top of the order. He had been hitting third his last 16 starts, but moved up to the 2-hole tonight. Takes a little bit high, 2 balls and no strikes.
That's kind of the way the pitches were last start. Not bad, but just a little bit up and a little bit out of the strike zone. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, that was the pattern. Derek falling behind, having to come in with a hittable pitch.
You know, when you find yourself high like that, you just have to be able to make an adjustment to get the ball down.
Instead, here a 4-pitch walk to the speedy Coco Crisp, who has stolen 25 bases this year. That's tied with Elvis Andrus for second in the American League. He has also been thrown out 8 times. That's tied for the 4th most. But he's aboard. Something to keep close tabs on, with Hideki Matsui, the DH, stepping in. And Matsui kind of leading the parade in reverse for this Oakland team offensively. Hitting all the way down to 214. That's in there for a strike. DJ Rayburn is behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes. Tim Timmons at first, Eric Cooper at second, and the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, is at third. Matsui only 6 homers, 33 runs batted in.
Yeah, the strange thing about his 6 home runs, 5 of them have come against left-handed pitchers. He's only hit 1 home run against a righty.
He had a big one against the Rangers, the early May trip that Texas took out to Oakland. Next home run will be his 500th of his career, including his years in the Japanese leagues. You see the speed factor with Crisp aboard. And a deliberate pace so far for Holland. Had Crisp way off balance there. Coco looking like he had no idea where Holland was going to come with that. It's fouled off, and it's 0-2.
He was thinking about going, but just didn't really feel that good about it.
So we'll see what he may or may not do here with the 0-2 pitch to Matsui. And it's a call, strike 3 on the corner.
That's a really well located slider right there. Got ahead with a fastball and went for the outside corner, kept it down, and made the perfect pitch. Watch the glove. There's that slider, just barely touching the outside corner. Not much a hitter can do with that one. Left-hand hitter.
So first 2 outs for Derek Holland, both strikeouts. And with Crisp still at first, now Josh Willingham just activated off the DL for this game today. He had been suffering a strained left Achilles, rehabbing that the last couple of weeks. But he is used to that. Willingham's 5th stint on the disabled list. Even with that missed time, this says an awful lot about the A's offensive woes. He went on the list, their home run and RBI leader, and still is. And there goes Crisp. And they throw behind him, and he just manages to scramble back to the bag.
I'm not sure why Crisp went back to first. He got a great jump, it looked like. I think he might have slipped in the dirt. Let's see what happens. Gets a jump, but I guess he didn't feel like he had a good jump, or didn't like the traction he was getting. It's tough to say.
Not going here. Strike at the knees, 1-1. If you followed the Oakland story this year, you know that for a team that knew they would be challenged offensively, it's been a little beyond that. There's another throw over to first. They are next to last in the American League in batting average and scoring. Only the Mariners are worse. They have been shut out 9 times. They're on pace for their lowest scoring season in a non-strike year since 1978.
Yeah, they were hoping that some of the additions, Connor Jackson, Willingham, DeJesus, would add a little bit more offense, give them just enough offense. Their pitching is tremendous. It's the second best ERA in all of baseball. But they're just not scoring enough runs to take advantage of good pitching.
And the 2-1 pitch just low. 3 balls and a strike to Willingham.
How good is their pitching? Their ERA is 3.05. Problem is the opponent's ERA against them is 3.13.
That's why every base runner is so precious to them. They cannot so far take advantage of the Coco Crisp speed at first, and Willingham now with a 3-2 count.
Yeah, and that's why Derek, with a man on first, is a little more deliberate, because he's going out of his way to do whatever he can to keep Crisp from trying to steal second, keep him out of scoring position. Throwing over, he's kind of varying the speed with which he goes to home plate. He'll step off. He'll throw that quick snap throw, standing still on the mound. Anything just to try to disrupt Coco Crisp's timing.
Well, takes off at 3-2 with 2 outs, and Willingham fouls that one back over the screen.
I think Crisp is so worried about his pickoff move. He didn't start on the 3-2 pitch with 2 outs until Derek had thrown the ball. He wasn't taking any chances about getting picked off. You know he's running there, but he's making sure he throws.
Moot point. Derek Holland strikes out the side in the first inning. What a contrast to last Saturday night when he only got 2 outs. Nothing for the A's. Rangers coming to bat. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo is back for only $3.99. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Southwest Airlines starting lineup tonight for Ron Washington will again feature Red Hot Ian Kinsler at the top of the lineup. Elvis Andrus off a 4-for-4 night. Josh Hamilton in left. Beltray, Young the DH, Cruz in right. Moreland at first. Might have broken out of a slump last night himself. Mike Napoli again catching, and Andy Chavez again in center field batting ninth against Rich Harden, who won his first start, going 6 innings, allowing 4 base hits, striking out 6, not walking a batter.
Well, last year with the Rangers, it didn't go well. He just never threw the ball well, other than maybe 1 or 2 games. He didn't have velocity, didn't have command. Just really struggled all season long. He had a nice start. That was Friday, first start with the A's. 6 innings, only gave up a couple runs, didn't walk anybody. But he's never going to be the pitcher he used to be because he just doesn't throw hard. When he first came up, he was 93 to 98. Now, you know, he's lucky when he gets it up to 91 or 92, but he still has a really good changeup, and when he throws strikes, quality strikes, then he can be tough. A lot of times his slider looks just like a changeup. It goes straight down sometimes. But the Ranger hitters, I'm sure, in their meeting said, make him throw strikes.
Kinsler gets hold of this one deep and over the head of Willingham, off the wall in left center field, and Kinsler has a leadoff double.
Well, a lot of good swings for Ian over the last week as well. 20th double on the season. And he's ahead in the count, 3-1. He's looking for a fastball. And Harden grooves one right down the middle of the plate. And Ian puts a charge in it.
Boy, is that a familiar sight this week. A Ranger out at second after a double. They have been piling them up. 7 on Monday, 7 again last night.
Now, last year, Harden walked 62 batters in 92 innings. 6 walks in the 9 innings on average. And he also gave up 18 home runs. So he had a bad combination of being wild and giving up the gopher ball.
And Tom, it really started in the spring because he was throwing 85, 86 last year out at Surprise. When asked about it, he would say, well, this is just me. I don't try and get up to top speed until the end of spring. He still wasn't consistently at 90 even then. Elvis lays down a bunt, thrown out by Harden, but he advances Kinsler to third with 1 out. 10th sacrifice of the year for Elvis, top 3 in the league.
Yeah, I know he said that, Dave, and then unfortunately the velocity just really never came back. There's a couple of times he popped it up in the game, you know, 91, 92, but never got back to what it was consistently. He's been hurt a lot. He's been on the disabled list 10 times in his career. But boy, when you go back to his A's days, he was one of the guys in the league where hitters didn't want to face him. He was a strikeout per inning guy, very difficult to hit. Since 2003, his opponent's batting average is .224. But he's not quite the same guy now.
Josh Hamilton takes inside. Oddly, the only hitless Ranger starter last night.
Infield back, so a ground ball will score a run.
And there goes the bat, fortunately right into the screen. A little too close to Adrian Beltre, no doubt, and much too close to the first fans down there.
That was the off-speed pitch from Harden, and it was a good one. Josh was way out in front of it and couldn't hang on to the bat. Yeah, that screen comes in handy for something like that.
Does he just need more pine tar? What's the issue here?
I think the issue is when you're fooled like that. He uses a pretty big bat to begin with, and as strong as he is, as much as he puts into his swing, or any player for that matter, when you're really fooled, it's hard to hang on to the bat. You don't see it as much on a fastball, and so I don't think even pine tar would let it stick in your hands when you're way out in front and fooled by a pitch. Generally, that's when you see it.
Super glue.
Maybe super glue might work.
Maybe a little radical. Upstairs 2-2.
Problem is with super glue, when you hit a ground ball to shortstop, you'd have to run to first base with a bat in your hands.
That would make for a challenge. And Beltre, after nearly getting hit a couple games ago by the bat toss, has retreated to the safety of the dugout.
I don't blame him.
That foul ball right there would have come pretty close to him.
He's trying to decide where to stand in the on-deck circle, to the left of the on-deck circle, and he's decided the safest place is in the dugout.
Maybe borrow some gear from Mike Napoli. Won't be needing it for a while. A lot of very similar looking foul balls here in this at bat by Hamilton.
I think generally when you're where Adrian was, to the home plate side of the on-deck circle with a left-hand hitter, you feel pretty comfortable.
Fouled off again.
Popped that one up there at 95 miles an hour. Must have heard us talking. Say, I'll show you my mid-90s fastball.
Well, this will be the 8th pitch of this at bat, 15th of the inning. Rich on Friday night beat Arizona 5-4. First win as an A in almost 3 years exactly. Grounded up the middle. Pennington behind second gets the out at first as Kinsler comes home with the first run of the game.
Yeah, and that's good at bat for Josh. He was behind in the count. He was fooled badly by a changeup, but he kind of went into a defensive mode, making contact, playing pepper, put the ball in play. Fouled off a couple of good changeups, fouled off the best fastball Harden's thrown, and he makes contact. And when you hit it to the middle of the field with the infield back, you get that run in from third base. Same thing as a 400-foot sacrifice fly. Oh, good baseball right there. A double, a sacrifice, put the ball in play, and get that first run in.
So with 2 outs now, Adrian Beltre. And looks at the off-speed strike. 2 for 3 last night for Beltre. Both hits doubles. Scored twice, drove in 2. And his average, a season high coming into tonight at 276, but he's behind 0-2. The offense-starved A's coming to scoring mecca in the major leagues this year. This ballpark averaging over 11 runs per game, almost 3 home runs per game. And Beltre reaches out, bounces that one to Carter at first. Harden covers. That does it for the Rangers' first inning, but they get a run on a hit and lead the A's 1-0. next time.
All right, thank you, Dave. These little leaguers having a good time, looking for a Ranger win. There we go. Let's get it going over here. Community Corner tonight, we're talking about Mitch Moreland. He needs some help. That's because he's getting started on an equipment baseball drive. That is to help the RBI program, Reviving Baseball in the Inner City. Those who want to help out, donate baseball equipment, new and gently used. You can do so at any of the 13 Academy Sports and Outdoors locations in the Metroplex, or come out to the ballpark, donate it here at the Grand Slam Majestic Gift Shop. Dave?
All right, Noxie. Scott Sizemore leading off the second inning. Will be followed by Connor Jackson and Chris Carter. The ball and a strike. Sizemore learning a new position, third base, and rips that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sizemore over from the Tigers just a little over 2 months ago, May 3rd. And a chopper up the middle. Elvis charges, throws, and gets him. That'll bring up Connor Jackson, right fielder, in the throes of a really serious slump, and it's almost a description you could use practically up and down this Oakland lineup. But Jackson currently in a 4 for 29 over his last 9 games. That's 138. Is hitting lefties well. 316 on the year. More than 100 points better than his numbers against right-handed pitching. Former first-round pick out of Cal Berkeley, 2003 by the Diamondbacks. Bob Melvin, who took over for Bob Guerin, who resigned June 9th. Making some pretty substantial changes. That is ripped foul. And it's 1-2. It's going with much more of a set lineup than Bob Guerin did. Spending more time visiting with the players. Some say more of an open line of communication. And some guys are learning new positions, like Sizemore at third. Jackson this year has made the first starts of his career at third and also right field, where we find him tonight. And he goes down swinging. 4th strikeout already for Holland.
Yeah, good pitches right there to Connor Jackson. Got a curveball over, pulled it foul, good fastball, and then finishes him off with a good hard slider down and in. That's some good pitching right there.
Well, so far, of the 5 outs Holland has recorded, only one has been with the ball put in play. A grounder by Sizemore. And here's Chris Carter, making his 7th start in the last 8 games. Most of those at first base, where we find him tonight. Batting 182 so far. No runs batted in. And he falls down 0-2.
He barely had a wave at that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Back into the seats. Carter last year came up and began his major league career 0 for 33. An Oakland record for longest hitless streak at the beginning of a career. Once he finally broke out of that, he was impressive last couple weeks of last season at 342. Reaches out, bounces a one hopper to Kinsler. Casual hip high grab. And the A's go in order in the second inning. To the bottom of the second we go, 1-0 Rangers. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. 1-0 Rangers into the bottom of the second. Rich Harden will face Young, Cruz, and Moreland. Giving up a first inning run on a leadoff double by Ian Kinsler. Andrews sacrificed him to third, and Hamilton scored him on a ground out. And Michael Young now stepping up, trying to keep a remarkable streak alive. 3 straight 3-hit games. So here is Michael. This current streak he's on is one that has occurred a number of times over the years. And he has done it a couple times himself. Lifts that one to right center field. Crisp going back, reaches up, makes the over-the-shoulder catch right at the edge of the warning track.
Well, that's an out, but that's pretty much how he's been hitting the ball for quite a while. He hits that a little bit more to the right. It's a double, short hops the wall. Chris playing pretty deep to begin with, and he's shading Michael like most center fielders do toward right center field. And so he runs it down about 390 feet away.
Cruz takes that one right in there at the knees. Nelson last night 1 for 4, drove in 3 runs, a 2-run single capping the 4-run first inning, and then a fielder's choice RBI in the 8th, capping the scoring 13th run. Roller here to Sizemore, and Young and Cruz taken care of by Harden here in the bottom of the second.
Harden has pitched in this ballpark 15 times, some of it with the Rangers, a lot of it with the A's, and his ERA is 5.48 in our ballpark. I'm sure a lot of that happened last year when he was pitching here for the Rangers. He was 37-19 with the A's. He was a terrific right-hander. Had injury problems, though. That held him back, kept him from getting a lot of innings and winning even more games. Then he got traded to the Cubs. He pitched pretty well for the Cubs. But when the Rangers got him in the offseason last year, they anticipated a top-of-the-rotation starter. And unfortunately, Rich was hurt, and it just never worked out that way.
Mitch Moreland drives one the opposite field for a base hit, and a very good sign for Moreland, who sat a couple of games to try to decompress a little bit. Ron Washington thought he was pressing a bit at the plate. Mitch agreed with him before the game and said he thinks taking the days off helped. It looks like they did.
Yep, that's a good job of hitting, because that's a pretty good pitcher's pitch. Right in the lower part of the strike zone and the outside part of the strike zone, and he goes the other way with it with a line shot.
Mitch talking about trying to get on top of the ball. Swing had gotten a little big. Had a succession of pop-ups and high fly balls, so he drove that one to set up Mike Napoli at bat with 2 outs, man at first. Napoli 1 for 4 last night, a 3-run home run, his 11th of the year. Activated on Monday, and he is 2 for 9 since then. The other base hit, a double. One of the scads of doubles that have been flying off the Rangers' bats over the last week. Boy, nice stop by Suzuki there.
I'll say. He shifted his body to get over to block it, and he caught it too. He wasn't just trying to backhand it with his glove. He was blocking it with his body, and it just happened to go right in his glove.
And if Moreland had drifted even a little bit off of first base, he comes out of that in perfect throwing position. In there at the belt, Napoli thought might have been high. It's 3-1.
Harden, once he threw 4 or 5 fastballs, is throwing a little harder than he did last year for the Rangers. He's touched 95. He's been 92, 93 quite a bit. And for a lot of the games he pitched last year, he was in the upper 80s, maybe touched 90 or 91. And I guess the question will be, how long will he be able to stay healthy? That's always been the question with him.
This most recent stint on the DL, the 10th of his career, the 7th with Oakland because of a strained right shoulder, and it was the 60-day DL until the 1st of July. So Moreland takes off, and it is ball 4. So with 2 outs, 2 Rangers reach to get to the bottom of the order and Endy Chavez.
Yeah, this is where you can really appreciate the Ranger lineup. When you get to the bottom of the lineup and you've got 2 outs, a couple of men on base, and you say, okay, good, the 9th place hitter's coming up. But in this case right now, the 9th place hitter could easily be the 1st or 2nd hitter in the lineup because he's swinging a nice hot bat right now.
He's got the top batting average on the team at .330. That's 2 points better than where Michael Young came in tonight. 2 hits last night, one of them a double, stole the base, scored a run, and takes high.
Mentioned that the A's team ERA is .305. The Braves are .302 and the Phillies are .305, and that's in a league without a DH. Well, the A's pitching really has been terrific, and they've had a lot of injuries in their staff as well. Brett Anderson's on the DL. Dallas Braden is out. Young pitcher Tyson Ross, who was throwing the ball really well when he got a chance, he's on the disabled list right now. But Trevor Cahill, Gio Gonzalez, they kind of anchored the staff. Brandon McCarthy's been pitching pretty well for him. And Guillermo Moscoso was throwing the ball really well.
1-2 to Chavez. Grant Balfour just activated in their bullpen tonight.
Yeah, they've got a really good bullpen too. It just goes to show you, you know, they say pitching is the major component of championship baseball, and that's probably true, but it also shows that you have to have some hitting to go along with it. The A's pitching is the best, but they're not a 500 team.
Chavez with another foul ball at 1-2. Well, one thing that Harden has done, here being the exception, is not only keep his teams in games, but put them in position to win. Over his years with Oakland, in his starts, they are 59-31. And another little blooper back foul.
Another pitch that he popped in there at 95 miles an hour too.
Rich out of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And reunited with kind of his pitching guru, their pitching coach, Ron Romatic. He's been with Harden since the very beginning of his pro career. Into shallow left field, Willingham coming on to make the catch. So the Rangers threaten with 2 outs. The single by Moreland, the walk to Napoli, but that'll do it. And through 2, it's 1-0. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T, rethink possible. Kurt Suzuki leads off the third inning. Cliff Pennington next, then back to the top of the order in Jamiel Weeks. And it has not been much of a year so far for the A's very talented catcher, hitting just .222 with 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Just finished the month of June with the lowest batting average of any American leaguer. He hit .157.
Yeah, it shows you what a difference a couple of months can make. Earlier in the season, looked like he was swinging the bat pretty well, being near the top or the middle of the lineup. You can get in a bad streak and lose your confidence and just try to fight your way out of it. He hasn't quite done that yet.
Chopper just over Holland. Andrews, the off-balance throw, not quite in time. What an effort by Elvis, who ends up several steps into right field after that delivery. So an infield hit by Suzuki, first base hit off Holland.
Yeah, just over Derek's glove. That was the best chance to get him. Nice play by Elvis. Close play at first base, but Suzuki got the call.
When we talk about Elvis having superior range, it's a play like that we're referring to. That was really close.
Yeah, it looked like they got there right at the same time.
Strike one to Cliff Pennington.
Kind of like the play yesterday when Chavez bunted with 2 outs and a man on third base. Very close play at first base, just like that.
Pennington, yet another Oakland hitter that hopes he can break out of it in this offensive mecca of Rangers ballpark. Cliff 6 for his last 47. 128 over his last 13 games. So back to the 9-hole, 5th straight game batting last, without a whole lot to show for it so far. He had been hitting second, where Coco Crisp is tonight.
That's a much different lineup now. Earlier in the season, Derek Barton was a top of the order guy playing first base. Kuzminoff was the third baseman. Then we saw Andy LaRoche playing third base, and all those guys are gone. Kuzminoff was outrighted to the minor leagues. So was LaRoche. Barton was optioned to the minor leagues. Last year, Barton was a guy who ended up the season with 110 walks and a .405 on base percentage. Tough to predict he was going to get sent to the minor leagues this year.
Just didn't see that guy. Bell tie for Beltre, out at second, not quite in time at first to double up Pennington.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough double play no matter who was running, just because of the chopper, the long throw for Beltre, and Pennington's a good runner, so that was going to be really tough to turn that one. They made it close, though.
Beltre getting rid of it as quick as he possibly could. Kinsley likewise, but Pennington there a half step ahead of him. And with one out, here is Weeks again, who struck out to begin the game. And Pennington, as Tom said, can run.
Pennington's stolen 6 bases, but he's been thrown out 6 times.
Weeks and then Crisp, unless the Rangers can turn 2 here. And Jamiel Weeks waving behind that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Weeks, as we said, out of the University of Miami, 12th overall pick, 2008, born in Orlando. His first 3 pro seasons. He spent a lot of time healing this injury and that. Played only 176 games in those 3 years combined. After last year, ranked as their number 5 overall prospect, and up now as at this point The A's second baseman of the present and future. Made really official when they traded Mark Ellis on the last day of June. It's a very deliberate Derek Holland. And so far, so good. Weeks staying alive. The only base hit, the infield hit by Suzuki. 4 strikeouts to the first 6 batters he faced tonight. And in that game Saturday, to get 2 outs, he spent 46 pitches. This is about to be his 43rd. Looking for his 8th out. And he gets it right there. Weeks goes down swinging for the second time, out number 2.
The second strikeout he's gotten with that good slider down and in. You have to be aware of the fastball that he's throwing today in the low to mid 90s. And it's tough to lay off that breaking ball when it's down and in like that to a right-hand hitter. Yeah, I think maybe in the last game Derek was having a hard time throwing strikes. Things were happening and he looked like he just sped things up, rushed things a little bit, never really got in any kind of control of that first inning. And so maybe today he is a little more deliberate. Maybe he's thinking a little bit more, concentrating a little bit more, trying to make a good effort to come back from that start. And I think he's doing a good job of keeping the runners who have been on base at first base from being able to get a good jump and steal a base. That, I think that goes into it as well. Hold the ball a little longer, keep him from getting a good jump. Nice curveball.
Swing and a miss on the slow breaking ball, 1-1.
Yeah, 45 pitches, 32 of the pitches have been strikes, and he's using all his pitches, not just his fastball.
That outing Saturday, the shortest by a Ranger starter without an injury or an ejection in almost 4 years. Brandon McCarthy, September of 07, also gone after just 2/3 of an inning in that game. But so far, the results looking like Holland has thought long and hard about exactly what you're talking about, the things that ended up spiraling out of control. And so far, avoiding really any trouble. As Chris fouls that one right back directly behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And no doubt a good team for him to come back out and jump on the horse against. Only Seattle in the league, a lower batting average and lower scoring. Nelson Cruz has this one played perfectly to end the A's 3rd inning. They get a leadoff infield single by Suzuki, but that's still their only base hit off of Derek Holland. A VIP road trip to Boston over Labor Day weekend. Enjoy great seats, a VIP tour of Fenway Park, including the chance to get behind the Green Monster, hotel accommodations, and the opportunity to meet a current Rangers player. For more information, visit TexasRangers.com/roadtrips. Kinsler led off the game with a double. Scored 2 batters later on the ground out by Josh Hamilton. And still the only run of the game as he leads off the bottom half of the third. Most of the Rangers have had very little exposure to Harden before tonight. As that pop up out to very shallow center field. Pennington retreating. And in front of Crisp coming on. He makes the catch. Kinsler now against Rich Harden. 3 for 5. 2 of those 3 hits doubles. 1 gone for Elvis Andrus, who sacrificed Kinsler to third. 10th sacrifice on the year for Elvis, and coming off his career night last night. 4 for 4, tying his career high for hits in a game. And first pitch strike from Harden, who has thrown 40 pitches now, 28 of them in the strike zone. Elvis last night, 2 of those 4 hits doubles. Rips that one. And it is in front of Willingham. It bounces away. But Elvis, after a big turn at first, is going to hang on there.
Well, Elvis ended the game swinging the bat well yesterday. Could have had 4 hits in the game, depending on an official scorekeeper's decision. But he hits that fastball well on a line. Willingham has a decision to make: charge it and try to catch it, maybe with a shoestring catch, or play it on a hop. He decided to lay back and play it on a hop.
Kind of third baseman style there. Just let it hit anything, but don't let it get too far away. Josh Hamilton now, who grounded out to short, allowing Kinsler to score.
Evidently, after the game, they changed that to a hit. I didn't see that. Good. I thought it was a hit.
Yeah, that officially made it 4 for 4 for Elvis. And 1-0 to Josh.
It was a 1-hop smash back to the pitcher. Went off Guthrie's glove. He had to kind of try to backhand it. And it was hit hard enough, and the pitcher's so close to the hitter. Tough to rule that an error.
Yeah, which we were thinking at the time. Because it got on him a little bit too fast for him to completely close his glove, and then the deflection made it impossible to throw Elvis out at first. So
later on in the game, he did make the same play, but the ball was on his glove side. And it's a little bit easier to glove it when it's on your left side than it is when it's on your right side.
Elvis with 25 stolen bases. And another nice stop by Suzuki, but is not going to keep Andrus from taking second base.
Well, the minute that ball hit the dirt, he took off. Suzuki knows he's going, and he's trying to get it, but he just couldn't get a handle on it. Might have had at least a throw to make it a close play.
Example of a defensive player having to hurry just because of the threat of speed on the base paths. And now 2-2 to Hamilton.
Yeah, when you catch Rich Harden, you know you're going to have to catch balls in the dirt, because that off-speed pitch that he throws, slider or changeup, a lot of them go down, a lot of them go in the dirt. So you've got to be ready to block balls. And Suzuki, over the years we've seen him catch, he's looked very good blocking balls. One of his strengths.
2-2 pitch to Hamilton, grounded under Carter, base hit. Andrews coming home, and it's 2-0 Rangers. Both RBIs courtesy Josh Hamilton.
Well, he's done a good job today with 2 strikes. He's had a couple of change-ups that he's been way out in front of and missed. But then with 2 strikes, he's been able to bear down, make some contact. This pitch stays up in the strike zone. It doesn't go down where Harden wanted it. And Josh stays with it, drives it into right field for the RBI. So base hit, wild pitch, and an RBI.
And that brings up Beltre. First 2 Ranger runs as a result of a lot of small ball, and we've talked about the overwhelming offensive numbers that the Rangers have put together in the first week of July. But so far tonight, playing the type of baseball that Ron Washington really prefers and has coached from day one here. Do what the game asks you to do, and just been a picture of efficiency getting these first 2 runs.
Yeah, in both cases, what the game asked Josh to do was make contact with 2 strikes, especially the first time up. Infield back man at 3rd and 1 out. Have to make contact there.
Backs Adrian off a bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beltre and Young in the on-deck circle have seen the most of Harden. Adrian now 2 for 14 against him. Michael 32 at-bats with 8 hits to show for him. Our Ford leaderboard for tonight. RBIs at home in the American League. Everybody chasing Teixeira, but you got Beltre number 2, Cruz behind him, Young behind him, tied with Adrian Gonzalez. Eddie Company up there. And Beltre waves at a pitch out of the zone. Out number 2. And strikeout number 1 for Rich Harden. Keeping that away, just out of the reach of Beltre. Michael, first time up, flight out to center field. With this tear he's on, he's got his average up to 3rd in the American League. Started the night at 328. Last 19 games, he's a 400 hitter. And the time for people who maybe didn't catch our feature in the pregame show about Michael, we illustrated how he distributes his hits, and he's got far more opposite field hits than balls that he has pulled to left. Most of them, though, right up the middle.
Yeah, most of his hits are just to the right or just to the left of second base, considered up the middle. But he has 10 more base hits to right field than he does to left field. And I think if you were someone who has watched him play a lot and they asked you to write those numbers down, that'd be pretty much what you would expect. You know, we talk about him as being an excellent opposite field hitter, and therefore you would expect him to get a lot of hits to the opposite field. He's also a hitter that basically goes up to the plate trying to hit the ball back through the middle. I think that gives you your best chance to hit the ball where it's pitched, and very few have done it better than Michael has over the last 10 years.
The A's know that all too well. And 3 balls and a strike. From the standpoint of philosophy and thinking opposite field first, does it remind you a little bit of another former Ranger batting champion, Julio Franco?
Yeah, a little bit. And I don't know that Michael always is thinking opposite field as much as back through the middle. And then where the pitch is kind of dictates how he swings at the ball and where he hits it. But yeah, and the other thing he does that we talked about is he stands off the plate, and so he does get pitched away a lot. And so if you hit the ball where it's pitched and you get pitched away a lot, it stands to reason that a lot of those balls will go to right field. And yeah, I think that's true. I think Julio was a similar type of hitter. Julio also stood off the plate, loved to drive the ball back through the middle, and I wouldn't be surprised if Julio's hit chart looked remarkably like Michael's.
I wouldn't either. I would guess that it probably would. Well, here's Nelson Cruz, one of the hottest bats going. Grounded to third his first time up. A couple of guys we have waited to see if they could really put together something on an extended basis, and it's Kinsler and Cruz, and they are doing it as we speak. Nelson, over his last 17 games, hitting .338, 5 homers, 21 runs batted in, but behind here, nothing in 2. So he has gotten hot and kept it going now for coming up on 3 weeks. Kinsler really has kept it going now for right at a month. A little beyond a month, in fact. Very hard in keeping Suzuki very busy behind the plate. Already one wild pitch, enabling Andrews to get into scoring position, with Hamilton then singling him home. Rich about to throw his 61st pitch, with Hamilton at second, Young at first. And 2-2 to Cruz. Cruz, one Ranger who has not been hitting Oakland pitching very well. From the 09 season on, just .206 against the A's. Lifted to center field. Crisp racing back. He's on the track and makes the catch, scaling the wall right in front of the Ranger bullpen. Extra bases robbed there by Coco Crisp. Rangers settle for a run on 2 hits.
The 4th inning, Texas leading Oakland by the score of 2-0. And Dave and Tom, I tell you what, the Kennedy Wildcat Class 3A State High School Championship team on hand. Yes! Guest of the Texas Rangers, Coach Trantham. I tell you, you used to tell me that you had a secret weapon. What was that?
We did. It was our bat boy, Morgan Earl. Without him keeping everybody calm, we would have been screwed. We couldn't have done anything.
The bat boy, way to go, big guy. And Jordan, one of the big players on the team. What has changed since you guys won the state championship?
All the ladies want us now.
Very good. Well, thanks for being honest. Congratulations, guests of the Texas Rangers, and the parade is going through Kennedale sometime in the near future. Congratulations. Thank you. Dave.
Hideki Matsui, grounder up the middle, fielded behind the bag by Andrews. And Matsui 0 for 2. There's a coach that just lays it right out the way he sees it.
The MVP was the bat boy.
Well, congratulations to them. Good luck trying to get rid of Jim Knox now, as he bounces on his merry way around the ballpark. And here's Josh Willingham, who struck out to end the 1st inning when Holland struck out the side. There are 5 strikeouts with 1 out here in the 4th. Still the only base hit, the infield single by Kurt Suzuki, leading off the 3rd. Willingham coming off his 5th stint on the disabled list. The strained left Achilles activated for this game. Line drive left field. Hamilton right there. 2 outs. Oh, it continues game in, game out to be so impressive how well scouted these opposing hitters are and how many atom balls there are.
Yeah, I think that's a major part of the pregame preparation before every series is where to play the opposing hitters based on who the pitcher is that night. And I would agree with you. The Rangers do a good job of that.
Especially when you see a solid stroke like that by Willingham, but Hamilton seemed to know before the pitch was delivered where it was coming. And now 0-2 to Sizemore. He grounded short his first trip. Learning third base, as we said. He played it 12 games total in the minors. Never in the majors until he came over from the Tigers, and a very impressive 4th inning. Finishes with a strikeout. 7 pitches, all it took for Holland. Trivia question. What is the major league record for most consecutive games with 3 or more hits? With obvious reference to Michael Young behind our trivia question for you tonight. So far this year, Michael, 14 3-hit games, 1 less than Adrian Gonzalez, 1 more than Starlin Castro and Jose Reyes. And Michael, so far tonight, has flied out and walked. In the Ranger 4th, bottom 3rd of the order, Moreland, Napoli, and Chavez. Moreland, his first time up, lined an opposite field single. And Mitch now 3 for his last 6 after ending the 0 for 15. Suzuki spears another one in the dirt. Rich Harden in this ballpark last year as a Ranger. Made it through 5 innings. Only 2 of the 4 times he got a decision, and that one is ripped into the corner by Moreland. Jackson fires it back in after a leadoff double, and Mitch Moreland now with back-to-back 2-hit games. He said he thought the 2 games of rest had done him some good. The results are right there.
Well, it's really neat to look at the 2 pitches he's hit and what he's done with them. The first time up, Harden threw him a pretty good fastball right in the lower outside part of the strike zone, and Mitch drilled it on a line over shortstop. That time he threw him a fastball up and in, and he drilled it right down the right field line with authority. So that's a really nice example of hitting the ball where it's pitched. Inside he pulled it, outside he went the other way with it.
Strike 1 to Napoli. Mike walked with 2 outs in the second. And the Rangers then had 2 on with 2 outs, but Chavez flied out to left. We'll see if the fundamental baseball that the Rangers have played to get these first 2 runs continues here. And in scoring position, nobody out. And the very next batter will bring Mitch Moreland home to make it 3-0. RBI number 29 for Mike Napoli.
The Rangers haven't poured on the runs yet like they have the last couple of days, but they've hit the ball well. Cruz almost had a 3-run homer last inning. Mitch drilled his ball. Napoli gets a high pitch that he drills up the middle. The Rangers picking up really right where they left off last night, swinging the bats.
They've scored in all but the second inning and left 2 aboard then. Here's Chavez. He ended that second with the fly to left field. Indy's week starting with the 4 RBI game, tying his career high Monday. Some pre-fireworks of his own on the 4th of July. Just outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Now we referenced this a little bit last night. Center field in the hands of Chavez against righties, Craig Gentry against lefties, occasionally Josh Hamilton. From something of a question mark to a position that's really in solid hands with any of those 3 options for Wash.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the job that Gentry's done out there. He's getting an opportunity to play. He knows he's going to be in the lineup against a left-handed pitcher, so it's kind of a semi-regular job. He can anticipate when he's going to play, and he's coming around with the bat. He's had a lot of games where he's swung the bat really well, and you know he can run down the ball in center field. You know he can throw. You know he can steal a base and run the bases. And now in getting some regular playing time, feeling comfortable with his team, comfortable in the big leagues, his hitting's starting to come around too.
This chopper back to Harden. Not in time to double off Chavez, though. They get the first out of the inning at second base. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, you guys talked about the 2 days off for Mitch Moreland and how he's responded after those. He says more than anything, he's just trying to ride this offensive wave that the Rangers have been on of late.
I felt like I put up some good at-bats yesterday, but I mean, the way we're swinging it right now, you know, you just kind of feed off of each other more or less, and you know, we're playing good baseball right now, and hopefully we can carry it over.
And you feel like he is at least due a good game. Don't forget, on that May 11th rainout, he had his first career grand slam wiped off the books because none of the stats counted, guys.
That's a great point, Emily. I forgot about that. And he's got 2 hits in this game tonight.
Yeah, he remembered every detail about that grand slam, too.
Yeah, there haven't been many games this year where Gio Gonzalez has gotten bombed, but that was one he got away with back then.
That game back on May 11th. Not quite through 4 innings with the Rangers up 7-0. Washed out. That's why they're playing tonight. Your schedule originally showed this as an off day. Speaking of Gio Gonzalez, Rangers get him tomorrow night in an all-star matchup with C.J. Wilson. Gonzalez, the lone Oakland Athletic, headed to the all-star game.
Yeah, and I think with both of those guys having 3 days rest before the all-star break, there's a good chance both of those guys will pitch in that game too.
And with all the pitchers working on Sunday, also a good chance that Alexi Ogando might become an all-star.
Yep, definitely.
I'd see 2 Rangers on the mound in that game. With Alexi coming through his 3-start slide with 2 successive, very impressive outings. Last night, his 9th win of the year. 7 innings, 3 runs on just 4 hits.
And the reason he would have a great chance of pitching in that game, he'll have 4 days rest. He'll be well rested for that game.
Throw gets behind Carter, not far enough for Chavez to advance. C.J. Wilson will be in the bullpen for sure Tuesday. But he's already told Wash he's going to bring his spikes just in case he might need a pinch hitter. He's already volunteered. Kinsler looks off speed at strike 2, and the count evens up. Rangers trying to get their 3rd win in this, the 7th meeting of the year with Oakland. Split the 2 games here back in May. Suzuki blocks another one. It is 3-2. Both wins recorded by Colby Lewis. But for Derek Holland tonight, a strong start, pitching 4 innings of 1-hit shutout ball so far. Outdueling Rich Harden in his 2nd start since coming off the 60-day disabled list. There goes Chavez, and that is looped off the fist into center field, a base hit. Rangers on the corners with still only 1 out for Elvis Andrus, and Ian Kinsler has another multi-hit game.
Ian just fights this fastball. No, it wasn't a fastball. It looked like a slider. Backup slider, up and in. Just kind of fought it off. Got jammed a little bit, but found the hole right straight away. And Chavez on the 3-2 pitch was on the run, so he easily scampers into 3rd base. Chance for Elvis to pick up a run.
The A's pitching coach Ron Romanic returning to the dugout. Elvis tonight a sacrificed single, taken 2nd on a wild pitch and scored. Tuesday, don't miss the world premiere preview of The X Factor. Simon Cowell is back with television's next big event, and you can only catch it during the All-Star Game next Tuesday, only on Fox.
You going to be watching The X Factor?
If it's during the All-Star Game, I will.
I think I'll watch it. I'll give Simon a chance.
Absolutely. Bluff at first, check swing roller, and Harden throws to second and does not get the out. He pulled Pennington off the bag, and the bases are loaded.
That's just not having an idea what you should do with the ball, and he knows it. The only play right there was to go to first base. He got the ball, he looked the guy back to 3rd, he did everything right, and then instead of getting the out at first base, it would have been 2 outs, men on 2nd and 3rd, he throws to 2nd. I mean, it's an aggressive play, but that's not where the play was. You have to get 1 sure out and go to 1st, and I think Rich is either upset that he didn't throw accurately to 2nd base, where he might have gotten the out, or he might have been upset that he didn't take the sure out at first base.
It goes as a fielder's choice, and Josh Hamilton trying to park a grand slam right there on the first pitch. Josh has driven in 2 of these 3 runs on a ground out in the first, on a single in the 3rd. He is up to 44 runs batted in now on the year. One ball and 1 strike. Now watch Jemile Weeks on this play.
Yeah, Weeks is pointing to first base. He knows where the play is. The ironic part of it is, if Harden made a good throw to 2nd, he might have gotten the call on Ian at 2nd base. It was just too tough a play when all you want to do is make sure you get 1 out.
A little pop up into shallow right field. Jackson drifts over, but it is going to be plenty deep to bring Chavez home. and allow Kinsler to take third as the Rangers stretch the lead to 4-0.
Yeah, now, if Josh did the same thing had he thrown to first base, now he's out of the inning because you get that one out, second and third and 2 outs. Because of the fielder's choice and the throw to second base, Josh gets an opportunity and he lofts a lazy fly ball to right field. And for the third straight at bat, he picks up an RBI.
One base hit to drive in 3 runs. Sacrifice fly does it there. And Adrian Beltre 0 for 2. He's grounded to first to end the first and struck out his second time up. Might have broken his bat. Pennington gets the out at second base, but the Rangers come up with 2 more runs. 3 hits, an error in judgment, a big factor as well by Harden. Trivia question. Major League record most consecutive games with 3 or more hits held by George Brett in 1976, Jimmy Johnston 1923, Sam Thompson before the modern era back in 1895. Not at all surprising, Tom, that you see George Brett at the top of that list.
Yeah, I don't know the other 2 very well, but I'm not surprised George Brett's up there. Boy, think about that. 6 straight days, games with 3 or more hits. I think a lot of us went into a season hoping we had 6 games in a season where we had 3 or more hits.
Well, the Oakland A's have only 1 base hit so far off of Derek Holland and an infield single by Suzuki leading off the third.
A lot of strikes from Derek, too. 41 strikes, 16 balls. And that play was a real close play at first base. Suzuki just barely beat it.
First base here, and it'll be handled unassisted by Mitch Moreland. Chris Carter will be the batter. Now, here we go, Tom. We were deciding whether Michael Young had a lot in common with Julio Franco. And look at the distribution. Very similar. Very similar.
Michael might have a slightly higher percentage to right field, but the point is they are very similar in that regard. And thank you very much to Carla Janeway for that.
Well, that was some
brilliant exhibit of what we were talking about.
Some quick research there. Had to impress Steve Busby, who joins us, right?
Exactly what I would expect from the Empress.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah,
no, not you.
Very
Bucks.
good.
I'm not calling you Empress.
Sorry. Yeah, that's not the worst thing you've called me.
I know. I didn't think you'd. I don't want you to throw one high and tight on me now. I know what your reputation is.
1-2 to Chris Carter. Buzz, Derek Holland Saturday versus Derek Holland tonight. Where do you start?
No comparison. No comparison. And I take it back. There is a comparison. Josh is going to take care of that. But the comparison is it's the same ability, potential, if you will. Different guy between the ears using it tonight. And that's not a knock on Derek. I'm making a compliment to Derek, because that's not easy to do, is to make the change that he made from one start to the next after being just awful against the Marlins. And to come out and do this, and I like the way that he and Mike Napoli have worked together. I have not seen Derek Holland shake off one sign tonight, and I think that's a big part of it. But he looks to me tonight like a young man that trusts what he's doing, and he trusts Mike Napoli in the game he's calling, and says, "Okay, here, I'm going to go do what you asked me to do."
Buzz, how important is it to a pitcher, and when you were pitching, to be on the same page with your catcher? Ultimately, you have to make the call, but what does that rapport do for you?
Well, Tom, I think for a young pitcher like Derek, I think it's extremely important to be on the same page, to really develop a trust with whoever's calling the game for you, so that you can learn the sequence of pitches that works best for you. And you need to ask a lot of questions of a veteran catcher. Why did you call this pitch here? If you want to find out, why did you call this here? I was thinking this, but I agreed with you, and try and figure out what other people see in you as a pitcher and how best to use your stuff.
As a veteran pitcher, did it matter to you, or
No.
did you feel better when the catcher called what you were thinking?
It reassured me sometimes. What I really wanted my catcher to do was know me well enough to know when my focus was off what we had talked about, where the game plan, that individual hitter or situation comes up, and I'm going away from what we had talked about before, or what he thinks I should do. That's when he's got to come out and either pat me on the back or kick me in the rump to get me out of that and get me back to where I need to be focus-wise.
Well, this is going to be in there for the second base hit off of Derek Holland, and they have both been off the bat of Kurt Suzuki. The first one that gets out of the infield here. So Suzuki aboard, 2 outs here in the 5th for Pennington. Buzz, who is the best catcher, most simpatico with you?
Buck Martinez.
Anticipating.
Yeah, Buck and I worked together a lot at AAA when I was first coming up, and then when we got to the big leagues, he and I worked together a lot, and we thought the same way about how I should use my stuff. And Buck was the guy that I really think knew when to come out and say, hey, what are you doing? Get your head back to where you need it. And he did it at the right time every time.
We'll pop up here as Kinsler backpedaling into short right field. And no harm done on the 2-out single by Kurt Suzuki. Derek Holland, a 2-hit shutout through 5, and the Rangers leading 4-0. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Chevy. Check out ChevyYouthBaseball.com/Rangers to win Rangers tickets and a trip to the 2011 World Series. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. On with the fifth, and it's Young, Cruz, and Moreland against Rich Harden. Steve Busby visiting with us up here. Michael Young tonight has flied to center and walked. Rich Harden, 4 runs on 7 hits. Rangers have scored in all but the second inning off of their one-time, briefly, former teammate. And Buzz, the career span of Rich Harden, when healthy, he is very good. Not healthy all that often. Just came off the DL for the 10th time. This is lifted high, carrying well to right field and gone. Number 8 for Michael Young. Tom got one up there. Rode a little bit of jet stream all the way over the Ranger bullpen. One of the longest shots we have seen this year from Michael Young.
It's also the second ball he's hit well to right field. The first time up, he hit the ball that Crisp ran down near the 407 sign. Oh, this is really what the Rangers saw a lot from Rich Harden last year. A lot of pitches in the dirt, and the long ball.
This one goes 402 feet.
He's already thrown 86 pitches with nobody out in the 5th inning.
And Michael, by the way, as this one sails out, has another franchise record. He scores his 959th run, breaking his tie with Rafael Palmeiro. A new leader, yet another club record for Michael Young. Some outstanding company there.
Some pretty good players on that list. Like to see that lineup.
Yeah.
That lineup might have been together for 1 year when Ruben came back. Were they all together at the same time? With Michael played with Palmeiro a couple years.
Right.
Juan and Pudge were here, and Ruben came back. They might have been here all at the same time.
The second time Juan came back too. I think it was. Oh no, Juan hadn't gone anywhere yet. Yeah, you're right.
Nelson Cruz strikes out, first out of the 5th inning. Second strikeout.
We're going to have an answer on that because we've got our research department working on it.
Our crack staff hard at work. But I would think it's got to be very disappointing, maybe the word frustrating, maybe a better word, to be Rich Harden and have the results he's had over his career, but so many stretches of seasons lost to various injuries.
Well, what I see from Rich Harden now, what I saw last year when he was with the Rangers, is he can't pitch the way that Rich Harden did 5 years ago, and he's trying to.
Exactly.
He hasn't made any adjustments in how he's trying to go about things, and that'll kill you. Even guys that stay healthy, Dave, the whole time, have to make adjustments because your stuff doesn't stay the same over the course of 5, 6, 7 years. You've got to add a little bit. You got to subtract a little bit. I don't see Rich Harden any different today in his approach to pitching than he was in 2003 when he first came up.
Yeah, the only difference is he's missing about 6 miles an hour off his fastball.
Yep.
Mitch Moreland, again, just a hair under that fly ball out to Crisp. And Mitch retired for the first time tonight.
You know, it's fine. It's pretty easy, I think, to say, well, you know, it's got to be frustrating. Yeah, sure, it's frustrating. It's also not utilizing the ability the good Lord gave you very well. And I think that blame has to fall squarely back on Rich Harden's shoulders.
This is the second time they've had Faustino de los Santos up in their bullpen. Rich about to throw his 94th pitch. Has yet to retire Napoli, who walked in the second, singled in a run in the 4th. So at some point he's got to realize that he is into another phase of his career.
If he wants to keep on pitching, he can go into the next phase. Maybe come up
the
with
bus ride phase.
Maybe come up with the broadcast booth. I don't know. Now you have to want to figure out a way to compete, And I just don't see him making the adjustments to allow him to compete at a high level. And his stuff is okay. I mean, it's still usable. But I don't see many adjustments being made either from the time that he was with the Rangers last year to this year either.
Oh, that one barely stays in the strike zone at 3-0 to Napoli. Andy Chavez will be next. 5 runs now on 8 hits off of Harden for the Rangers. Error free again. No runs, 2 hits for Oakland. Grounded to Pennington at short. And that takes care of the 5th inning, which began in record-setting fashion by Michael Young.
Lead the A's 5-0. David Tom. We have a group of fans, Ranger fans from Hungary. What is this all about? 12 strong.
Well, all our parents grew up in Texas, and now we're living in Hungary, but we're coming back to get some Texas culture and to watch some Rangers.
There we go. Now, I understand you guys keep up with the Rangers and even get up at 5 in the morning to watch them play. How?
Yeah, we listen to them on the radio and watch them on MLB TV. Go Rangers!
Yeah, okay. A big treat for them today. They went to the mall and ran into Adrian Beltre. So y'all got his autograph and everything, right?
Yeah, we got a picture.
Got a picture.
Yeah,
right,
we got a
good
picture.
deal. All right. It was well worth the trip from Hungary. Thanks, guys. Good day, mate. Thanks.
Rangers a worldwide power now. Spanning the globe to find Ranger fans. Derek Holland. 2 balls and a strike to Jemile Weeks, who has struck out swinging each of his first 2 trips. Holland with 6 strikeouts in the game. Line drive, leaping grab, Ian Kinsler.
And every time Derek's been a little bit behind in the count, not every time, he did walk Crisp in the first inning, but he's come back with strikes. The other day he'd get behind, he just couldn't come back and throw a strike. Today he's been right in the strike zone all day long. And he's used all his pitches. He's had a good fastball, but more than that, he's had a curveball, he's had a slider, and he's thrown some changeups. A good idea of what he's doing out there.
First pitch grounder to Andrews to retire Coco Crisp. Crisp, who walked his first time up, still the only walk issued by Derek. Derek has retired the side in order in the 2nd. Again in the 4th. Chance to do it here in the 6th. Oakland has yet to put 2 base runners on in the same inning. Only a couple of hits and a walk. And In the third inning, their best chance after the infield single by Suzuki. Pennington aboard on a fielder's choice. Suzuki forced at second base, and then Weeks struck out. Crisp lined out into the hole. Backhand stab. Perfect throw across the diamond for Elvis Andrus, and the Rangers continue to play some sparkling defense. This is their fourth straight errorless game so far. Another 7-pitch inning for Holland. Tonight's Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is up to a near record $3,200 and dinner for two at a Sonic drive-in. And tonight the Rangers are hitting for Paula Gallion from Garland. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Paula Gallion from Garland will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And we are one game away from equaling the all-time record of $3,300. As many home runs as the Rangers have been hitting of late, it's just remarkable that none have been falling in the Sonic Slam inning. New pitcher, Rich Harden, gone after 5 innings, 5 runs on 8 hits, and he is replaced by Faustino de los Santos.
He's off to a pretty good start. 4 2/3 innings, he struck out 9 batters. First time we've had a chance to see him. It looks like he's got some pretty good stuff. See if he's one of those 95-mile-an-hour guys.
De los Santos, 25, from Samana in the Dominican Republic. Came over from the White Sox in the Gio Gonzalez, Ryan Sweetie, Nick Swisher trade, January of 2008.
And that would be a yes. 96 miles an hour with that first fastball.
Chavez pops that one out of play. It's 0-2. Rich Harden at his 5 innings through 98 pitches, 61 for strikes, struck out 2, walked 2. The Rangers just able to take what he gave them, methodically building this lead. Base hit to right by Chavez.
And there's a case where a pitcher throws 2 96-mile-an-hour fastballs, jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, then hangs an off-speed pitch that gives up a rope into right field. Hanging slider, and Andy Chavez, I'm sure, said thank you very much for that pitch. 0-2.
Ian Kinsler having another big night. He led off the first with a double, scored on a Hamilton ground out. He has since popped to short and singled and was left at third base in the 4th inning. The Rangers put 2 of these 5 runs on the board. De los Santos just up from AAA Sacramento Friday. This is his 3rd stint this year with the A's, and his 3rd outing since this return. Brought him up in mid-May, sent him back down without making an appearance with Oakland. Up again June 3rd, back down June 6th. First taste of the major leagues. Two 2-0 to Kinsler. Rangers with single runs in the first, third, and fifth. 2 runs in the fourth. And there goes Chavez. He is way ahead of the throw by Suzuki. Still yet to be thrown out this year on the base paths, and he's now 6 for 6.
He's got a big jump. He's almost going before De Los Santos even began delivering the ball to the plate. Suzuki had no chance on that one.
Kinsler waiting for the 3-0 pitch. And it just misses. First 2 Rangers reach against De Los Santos. They'll bring up Elvis Andrus. Elvis tonight, a sacrifice, sent Kinsler to third after that first inning double. Singled in the third, took second on a wild pitch, scored on a Hamilton single to make it 2-0. And last time up, reached on a fielder's choice, which was followed by Hamilton's third straight run batted in, scoring on a sac fly. He does bring it too, Tom. 95 all-out delivery. Maybe a little bit of an overthrow. And he may have injured something. Bob Melvin himself out to check on him. Maybe not for a physical reason, but bypasses his pitching coach here, Ron Romano.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to deliver a message straight from the manager, which is probably, you got a great arm, just relax. Do your thing out there, kid. Kind of, it looked like a reassuring visit to the mound from the manager.
Last year, spent at Class A and AA, Stockton and Midland for De Los Santos. And right after the visit, 96 strike at the knees, 1-1 to Elvis. Rangers piling up more runs tonight against the top pitching staff in baseball. 2 pitches in a row right there, 1 and 2. Now into the Oakland bullpen with an ERA as a group of 3.01. That's the best in the league. But another night of very little offense. Only 2 hits through 6 off of Derek Holland.
That's probably a combination that they're not a good offensive team, but also a major component of nothing for the A's offense tonight has been Derek Holland and the way he's thrown the ball.
And Ron Washington before the game very non-committal as to what would happen regardless of how well or not very well Holland threw the ball tonight. Really the only thing that is set after the All-Star break is that Alexi Ogando's first start will be game 1 of the series at Angel Stadium on the 19th. Rest of the picture in flux.
Yeah, CJ's start I'm sure will be determined by how much he pitches during the All-Star game. If he doesn't pitch at all, he'll probably pitch the first game after the All-Star break.
Or maybe Wash will just look for a pinch hit triple out of him.
Maybe.
He's already volunteered. De Los Santos 2-2 pitch again sprayed foul.
I'm just trying to figure out which all-star hitter he would get that nod over.
Well, I'm thinking it'd be 15th inning, maybe 16th.
Yeah, the problem is he's probably going to pitch before then. I can't imagine CJ doesn't get into that game on the mound.
Breaking ball wide. It is 3-2 to Elvis. Hamilton in the on-deck circle, having driven in 3 of these first 5 Ranger runs. Angels hosting Seattle tonight, and they're just about set to get underway. Doug Fister against Jared Weaver. Fair ball finally. Connor Jackson goes back into the corner. And both runners moving up here. Kinsler sliding in safe ahead of the throw at second base. Chavez at third.
Good base running. Ian's a very aggressive base runner. He's got good instincts. He knew enough to go back and tag up. Jackson was drifting a little bit away from second base when he caught it. Wasn't an exceptionally long throw, and he made a pretty good throw. But watch Ian. He senses that he's going to be going away from the ball. Feels like he can get to second base. Would have taken a perfect throw. Good speed, a nice slide. Stay out of the double play.
That close, but he made it. So they're both in scoring position now with one out for Hamilton. One hit tonight to get his 3 RBIs. Ground out in the first, sac fly last time up in the fourth. So Josh up to 45 runs batted in now. It is 40th game off the DL. He's driven in 38 runs. Right at 1 per contest, 1 and 1.
You know, a lot of that has to do with Ian and Elvis hitting ahead of him and getting on base with good speed. When you hit a double with those guys on first base, it's a run. You don't have to worry about the guy stopping at second most of the time.
Beltre, Young, Cruz behind him in the lineup. Josh sitting there, one of the most enviable spots in baseball, hitting third in this Ranger lineup this year. 1 and 2.
And again, Josh is behind in the count. I think that's been the case all 3 times up. He's had a battle back from being behind in the count to make some contact. This time against a pitcher he's never faced before.
For De Los Santos, this will be his 19th pitch of the 6th. And Josh holds off on that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rangers trying to win their 4th straight. And they're 10th in 16 games. 3 left before the All-Star break after tonight. After the sweep of the Orioles, Rangers are back with one of the top 3 home records in the league, 27 and 18. Only the Indians and the Yankees are better, not by much. Yankees losing at home tonight to Tampa Bay, 5-1. Yankees batting bottom of the 9th inning. Full count on Hamilton. Chavez at third after his leadoff single. Kinsler second after his walk. Infield in, 3-2 pitch. Grounded foul again. Hamilton is really making a first hardened couple of at-bats, and now De Los Santos labor. It's now a 22 pitch inning with only 1 out to show for all that work. Foul the other way. Save 2 tomorrow. In the matchup of All-Stars, C.J. Wilson 8-3 against Gio Gonzalez 8-5. We'll have the telecast on TXA 21 at 7 o'clock. Saturday night also at 7 back here on Fox Sports Southwest for Colby Lewis against Brandon McCarthy, former teammates head-to-head. And Sunday afternoon at 2, Matt Harrison against Trevor Cahill. Last game before the break. Lifted high in front of the track to Willingham, and he's there. Chavez comes home, and Josh Hamilton now, 4 plate appearances, has driven in 4 of the 6 Ranger runs.
Well, it's a credit to Josh to being able, at least 3 of the bats, battle back from a 1-ball, 2-strike count to make contact, this time against a guy throwing 96 miles an hour, to bring in a guy from third base with less than 2 outs. It's also a credit to the guys hitting ahead of him, getting on base before every at-bat and being in scoring position and on third base in 3 cases.
And that was a 9-pitch battle. Josh fouling pitch after pitch away until he could finally get one up in the air and bring home the run. So 2 outs. Kinsler still at second base for Beltre. Adrian tonight is 0 for 3, nothing yet out of the infield. And a strikeout. One of the 2 for Rich Harden while he was in there. Adrian trying to keep an 8-game hitting streak going into 9 games. And he normally really enjoys hitting against the Oakland staff. Last 19 meetings, he's at .384, 5 homers, 16 driven in. Rangers now at a stretch of 11 straight games against the AL West, in and out of the All-Star break.
Yeah, after the All-Star break, the Rangers go on the road for 38 games. 23 of them are against the AL West. 60% of the road games are within division. 3 times to Anaheim. They haven't gone to Anaheim yet. That's really unusual.
Pitch finally gets behind Suzuki, comes right back to him, but Kinsler trots down to third on the wild pitch. Second wild pitch issued by Oakland's pitchers.
Suzuki's had to work tonight. He had to block a lot of the off-speed pitches from Rich Harden. That one just was too far away, too low, and going too fast to block.
So Ian 90 feet away with 2 outs, and the 3-1 pitch to Beltre. Well hit right field, but Jackson is there. And that'll do it for the Rangers' 6th inning. Another run driven in by Hamilton to support a 2-hitter in progress by Derek Holland. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Dave Barnett, Tom Grieve, and a 2-hit shutout into the 7th inning for Derek Holland. 77 pitches, 55 for strikes. Both hits by Suzuki, including an infield hit. Only walk was to the second batter of the game, Coco Crisp.
He's got a great pitch count. He's on track to get a complete game if he keeps going at this rate.
Well, it was just about a month ago in Cleveland where Derek put together his second career complete game shutout. June 4th, a 5-hitter and a 4-0 win. Since then, coming into tonight, 5 starts with 1 win and 3 losses, a 7.18 earned run average, 21 earned runs in 26 and a third innings. But tonight, a return to form, admittedly, form that he has only flashed on occasion. But on those nights where Derek Holland puts it all together, and you're watching one right here, you understand why the Rangers are so high on his talent.
And you just have to keep in mind that he's 24 years old. He probably got to the big leagues sooner than he was ready to perform. So a lot of the starts that he's had have come at a time when he might have been better served pitching in the minor leagues. And then keep in mind how many pitchers develop into really good starting pitchers in their late 20s. It just doesn't always happen in the 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old stage of your career. So he's still a young work in progress. But when you see games like this, you understand why you have to stick with a guy like this.
Well, 3-2 to Willingham. This is the first 3-ball count he's had since the first inning, when he walked Crisp on 4 pitches and struck out Willingham at 3-2 to end that inning. He has retired 11 of the last 12 Oakland hitters. Trying to get Willingham for the 3rd straight time here. And his 3-2 pitch rolled to Beltre, up off his knees to get it across the diamond to Mitch Moreland. 1 gone in the 7th, and now let's go to our Fox Sports Southwest studios. Check in with Leslie McCaslin for a McDonald's Dollar Drink Game Break. All right, Leslie, strike 1 to Scott Sizemore, who's grounded to short and struck out. Most recent strikeout for Holland, his 6th, and that was at the end of the 4th inning. You just almost see the confidence grow pitch by pitch, Tom, as Derek gets deeper and deeper into this game.
Yeah, right off the bat, he was throwing the ball well, and a pitcher can sense when he's throwing the ball well, when he can command all his pitches. I think that alone gives you the feeling that you got a pretty good chance when you've got that kind of stuff. Looked like the exact opposite the last time when he just couldn't throw the ball where he wanted to.
And he had already thrown well against Oakland this year. Took a no decision on May 2nd. A game the Rangers lost in 10 innings. But Derek that night, 7 innings, 3 runs, 1 unearned, 8 hits. Kept the walks down to 2. Sailing so far. Another grounder left side. Beltre handles the first 2 outs here in the 7th.
Another good pitch too. Fastball in that jams Sizemore. So weakly little grounder. Easy play for Beltre.
Derek now getting 4 straight outs on grounders to the left side. Andrews handling the last 2 outs of the 6th. Grounders by Crisp and Matsui. Beltre the first 2 here in the 7th, and Connor Jackson will be the batter. He struck out and grounded to first. Jackson now 4 for his last 31. Holland past the 90 pitch mark there with his 91st, just missed. Another chopper. Adrian Beltre handles all 3 here in the 7th inning. Still a 2-hitter for Derek Holland. Stretch time at the ballpark.
noticed some new additions to the uniforms of a select few Texas Rangers, those, of course, being the All-Stars. The Major League Baseball decided to recognize the All-Stars during this week leading up to the break with these stars that you can find on the MLB insignia on the back of their jerseys as well as on the hats. These also the patches that the guys will be wearing in Phoenix. And a nice little way for the guys to stand out. Ron Washington and his staff also donning the stars as well, and there was very specific instructions on exactly how to apply these, and I'll just say it involved super glue and an iron, guys.
Well, they're nice little additions. Yeah, nice to be designated as such when you make the All-Star team. As Michael Young has for the 7th time in a Ranger uniform. Tonight, 1 for 2. That one hit a leadoff homer in the 5th, and the first pitch thrown by Michael Wirtz. A ground ball handled by Scott Sizemore. Wirtz, the 3rd A's pitcher of the night.
Now, Wirtz is a guy that is a good, solid setup man. Has a good slider. Slider's his best pitch. Sneaky fastball, holding opponents to a 198 average. One of those guys that makes the A's staff, statistically anyway, ERA-wise, the best in baseball.
He is extremely tough on right-handed hitters. And here's one, and Cruz. Nelson tonight 0 for 3. Wirtz allowing right-handed hitters to hit just at a 7 for 48 pace. Right around 140. This is 3rd outing against the Rangers. 2 innings, 1 hit, scoreless in the first 2. Struggling a little lately. Last 13 outings, ERA up near 5. And Cruz looks at an off-speed pitch for strike 2. Mitch Moreland will be next. He's had a 2-hit game, including a double. Ground ball again to Sizemore. This is a very busy inning for the 3rd baseman. They have handled all 5 of these outs. Baseball fans, Chevy is a proud sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. Some of the crowd of 35,041 tonight. The game postponed back on May 11th. When the Rangers had built a 7-0 lead, couldn't get that game into the 5th inning. For Matt Harrison, for Derek Holland on a 100-degree night. He is about to go out there and try and keep a 2-hit shutout going into the 8th. Mitch singled his first time up, led off the 4th with a double, and scored the first of those 2 runs. Singled in by Mike Napoli. Rich Harden, in his 2nd start back with the A's, lasted 5 innings, threw 98 pitches, 5 runs on 8 hits, struck out 2 and walked 2. Faustino de los Santos gave up a run in his 1 inning. Ground ball to the right side this time, and Weeks retires Moreland. A 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th for Michael Wirtz. The Rangers looking for a 4-game winning streak. Today, a major loss for the Oakland A's franchise and really all of baseball. Dick Williams, their former manager during their heyday, the early 70s, passed away at the age of 82 in his home near Las Vegas, suffered a ruptured aortic aneurysm. Dick Williams, former Fort Worth Cat, married a Fort Worth girl, and had some of the best teams of his era. Managed the 67 impossible dream Boston Red Sox to the AL pennant on the final day of that season. Moved on to Oakland. Won World Series in 72 and again in 73. And from there to the Angels, the Expos, the Mariners, 21 seasons all told. And 2008 named to the Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee as Chris Carter strikes out to begin the 8th inning.
I didn't know they had the kiss cam back then.
That's right. Oh, that was a great shot.
Charlie Finley.
And Dick Williams kissing their wives. That's right.
That was great.
After the World Series.
Well, Dick Williams had one of my favorite lines when he was managing the Angels. They were an offensively challenged team, and they'd just been beaten in Boston where they didn't score many runs. And he said after the game, my team could take batting practice in the lobby of the Sheraton Boston and not break anything. And so he was known for telling it like it is, that's for sure. He was a great manager.
Well, Ray Fosse, of course, a catcher on those great Oakland teams of the early 70s, and he was reminiscing today, said that there's no manager I ever respected more, and the thing that he really did for the A's players was shield them from the craziness of their owner, Charlie O. Finley, who did, he was George Steinbrenner before George Steinbrenner. And most memorably, in the 73 World Series, after Mike Andrews committed a couple of errors, he basically fired him. Just refused to allow Dick Williams to play him, at least in the starting lineup as that series moved on. So the A's wore black armbands in protest. And what Dick Williams did was, in a pregame meeting during that World Series, he told the A's players that he was resigning after the World Series, win or lose. Just could not countenance that type of executive decision from the owner to order him not to play a key player. Suzuki pops out, retired for the first time. Fosse also said, and Ron Washington also played for Dick in the minor leagues, described him as a player's manager, but everybody knew what he would and would not tolerate. And some of the mantras that we've heard over the years from Ron Washington really come straight through Dick Williams about doing what the game asks you to do, about being ready, whatever it might be that very night or that at bat or whatever. And just be however big or small a part of the victory that you can be that particular game. Another great example from Ray Fosse said he was the guy who saw probably just about a mediocre starter in Raleigh Fingers, made him his closer, and he turned into one of the great relief pitchers in the modern era and ended up in the Hall of Fame. So no doubt a lot of sadness out in Oakland for those who remember Dick Williams dead at the age of 82 today. Holland trying to retire his 10th straight batter here. And this should do it. Pennington grounding to Kinsler. Derek Holland is through 8 innings, throwing a 2-hit shutout. Packs offer savings of up to 50% for most Sunday through Thursday Rangers games. You can choose from upper or lower reserve seats and receive 4 tickets, hot dogs, and Cokes, plus $20 in sports park tokens and a souvenir program. Look for the coupon on specially marked Coca-Cola 20 packs in stores now. Well, the A's have their 4th pitcher tonight. Brian Fuentes out to work the 8th inning. Mike Napoli set to lead things off. Then Chavez and Ian Kinsler. Fuentes, the veteran left-hander, on for the 40th time this year.
A relatively high ERA for a closer. Someone who has been a closer. Actually, he's probably not the closer right now. Andrew Bailey is back healthy.
Napoli tonight has walked, singled in around, and grounded out. Rich Harden, the starter, 5 innings, 5 of these 6 runs on his ledger. De Los Santos a run in his inning, the 6th. Michael Wirtz pitched a 1-2-3 7th, got 3 ground ball outs. And a ball and a strike now to Napoli. There is absolutely no activity in the Ranger bullpen. Derek Holland in 104 pitches will go out in search of his 2nd complete game shutout in a month and a week. Month and 3 days to be exact. And they'll have the top of the A's order in the 9th. Weeks, Crisp, and Matsui. Derek would be almost perfect tonight, except for Kurt Suzuki, who has both their hits, the first one being an infield single. Napoli reaches and lofts that one high back into the seats. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And, you know, Tom, thinking about Dick Williams, as remembered by Ray Fosse and Ron Washington today. Ray said he just made it very simple to us players. We're going to win with pitching and defense. We do not give away outs. If there was one point he made more often than any other, it was that. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Daniela. Big-time Ranger fan, turned 19 years old today, brought all her friends and family here. Could have gone anywhere but the Ranger game because why?
I love the Texas Rangers and Elvis Andrews.
All right, so here's the bag hat. A date with Elvis Andrews. No, just kidding on that one. But congratulations. Anything else you want to say?
Let's go Rangers.
Get them going. There we go. All right. Bringing them home. Very good, guys. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Strike 1 to Chavez. Endy tonight 1 for 3, has scored twice. After reaching on a fielder's choice in the 4th, he came home on the first of 2 sacrifice flies by Josh Hamilton. Led off the 6th with a single off Altino de los Santos and gets that one through Wirtz and Pennington. A 2-hit night for Endy. 2nd straight 2 for 4 game, in fact, for Chavez.
He's got a pretty good knack of putting the bat on the ball, boy. One of those slashing type hitters. You don't know whether he's going to pull one down the line or slap one in the left field. He just reacts to the ball. I don't think he goes up there looking for a particular type of pitch. I think he just raises his leg, looks for the ball, and slashes away at it. Kind of Johnny Damon-like.
Well, he's got it working for him, that's for sure. Strike 1 to Kinsler, who has reached on 3 of his first 4 plate appearances. Led the game with a double, scored the first run, first RBI of 4 tonight by Hamilton, a ground out. Popped out in the 3rd, singled in the 4th, walked in the 6th. That inning, he took 3rd on a wild pitch. He has been left at 3rd twice tonight. The Rangers have played just about near perfect fundamental baseball. Dick Williams would be impressed. Hard shot to Sizemore. Weeks on the relay in time to turn a 5-4-3 inning ending double play. On to the 9th we go. Derek Holland in search of his 3rd career complete game shutout. inning, 3 outs away from his 3rd career shutout, having faced only 3 over the minimum. And Jemile Weeks 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts last time he lined out to Kinsler at second base. Oakland base runners tonight: Coco Crisp, a walk in the first, Kurt Suzuki infield single leading off the 3rd, and a 2-out single in the 5th. And a base hit here for Weeks to begin the Oakland 9th. There is their 3rd. They are trying to avoid being shut out for the 10th time this year. The Rangers trying to finish off their 9th shutout. Let's check in with Emily.
And a Ranger shutout would be a wonderful birthday present, I should say, for Brooklyn K. Perner, who was born today to Jay and Dana Perner, 6 pounds, 15 ounces, 18.5 inches. Baby and mom are doing great, and so is big sister Reese. Brooklyn K. Perner, welcome to the world.
Yes. Dana Larson, of course, of our Fox Sports Southwest family. Congratulations. Well done, Dana. Chris flying out to Chavez for the first out of the 9th inning.
Well, so far in the game, there's been 1 walk. That was the 2nd hitter, Coco Crisp. And there's been 2 hits. One was an infield chopper that Elvis almost nipped Suzuki at first base. And the other, Suzuki lofted a fairly soft line drive to left field in front of Josh Hamilton. And that's it.
Matsui has struck out looking, twice grounded to short. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 7 left for the Rangers. This would be their 4th straight error-free game. First time they've strung that many together in over a month. Neftali Feliz not anticipating a save opportunity here, but loosening up nonetheless. Weeks with speed at first base. Rangers would love an inning-ending ground ball for a double play here. Instead, a little pop-up out to shallow left field for Elvis Andrus. And Derek Holland 1 out away from the shutout. And let's check in with John Radigan.
All right, Dave, down in the Rangers live set, awaiting Steve Busby for lots of analysis on this one. Can't wait to hear what he thinks about how Derek Holland finishes this one up. Can't wait to hear from Holland and Wash as well. A complete post-game wrap-up immediately following the game, guys.
All right, and this crowd will be on their feet for however many more pitches it takes for Holland to get this 27th out. Josh Willingham 0 for 3. A strikeout, a liner to left, and a grounder to third. August 9th, 09 at Angel Stadium. Derek's first complete game shutout. Base hit through the hole. And the game's still alive as the A's get only their 3rd and 4th hits all night here in the 9th inning. Derek on June 4th at Cleveland came up with his 2nd complete game shutout, and they'll have Adam Rosales at first base, pinch running for Josh Willingham.
I haven't seen Rosales in a long time. Been injured. He was getting a lot of playing time last year with the A's.
So Willingham in his return off the DL today, 1 for 4. And Mike Maddox out to talk about trying to get this last out. Holland has had some very low pitch innings, through only 7 pitches in the 4th and again in the 6th. Only 12 in the 8th. He's about to throw number 112 on the night. 78 strikes against 33 balls. 5 days after the worst outing of his career, in which he lasted just 2/3 of an inning. Wild pitch, allowing Jemile Weeks to move up to third.
Yeah, when you're down 6-0 with 2 outs, and you feel like you have to dive into third base on a wild pitch, you should have stayed at second.
Weeks is the first Oakland runner to get past first base tonight, much less third. And on defensive indifference, Rosales takes second base. So 2 in scoring position now with 2 outs. And a 2-0 pitch coming to Sizemore. That will be foul in the seats. 2-1. Boy, the last several days, we have really seen the full gambit of what Derek Holland is capable of. Most important tonight, resilience, determination, and execution. Oh, just outside, says DJ Rayburn, and it's 3-1. Derek has thrown as many as 118 pitches this inning. That was his third outing, or this year, third outing at Yankee Stadium. And there's only his second walk. The only other one coming to the second batter of the game, Coco Crisp.
If one more batter gets on, then it's a save situation for Felice, believe it or not.
So he's going to continue to throw just in case.
And I would think Ron Washington would give him one more shot, because if he doesn't get Connor Jackson, he loses the shutout.
Crowd not very happy with DJ Rayburn's strike zone here in the ninth. Another borderline pitch just outside. He got it right. Jackson a strikeout, 2 groundouts. And that is in there. In his last 7 outings here at the ballpark since April 22nd, 1 win for Derek Holland. Right center field. Cruz is there. Derek Holland finishes off a 4-hit complete game shutout, the 3rd of his career. And the Rangers win their 4th straight in an amazing turnaround from just last Saturday night for the 24-year-old from Newark, Ohio.
No, he was in complete charge the whole game. It's great to see him come back after a couple of hits and a walk. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He gets the last hit. He finishes off the 4-hit shutout. And what a great feeling for Derek to come back after that 2/3 inning appearance to pitch a game like that.
Derek improves to 7-4 on the year. Rich Harden falls to 1-1. Josh Hamilton, the hitting story, 4 of the 6 RBIs for the Rangers in this victory, in which they improved to 48-41. They will stay atop the American League West. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout days. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Rangers live on the other side after a 6-0 Rangers victory.